Good afternoon and welcome to today's NWCR's Removing the Liberal Blindfold for this Wednesday, the 10th day of September in the year of our Lord 2020. From Red State comes this one, headlined, Columnist Warns, You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet. Democrat Party has no intention of accepting second Trump term. The closer the presidential election gets, folks, 59 days and counting, the farther the TDS-riddled Democrat Party goes off the crazy train rails, hyperbolically insisting, with zero facts, of course, or even a hint of suggestion to back them up, that Donald Trump will try to steal the election. Then there's the silliness about Trump refusing to leave the White House, as if he's going to barricade himself inside the Oval Office if he loses. But we're not going to waste time or space on that nonsense right now. Speaking of the 2020 Democrat psychosis, it isn't Donald Trump who will go off the deep end if he loses, it's them. Columnist Miranda Devine told Fox and Friends Weekend on Saturday. Devine's prediction was, in effect, a review or preview of how the Democrat Party will react if Trump wins, which is precisely how it has acted over the last 4 years, with an ominous warning thrown in for good measure. The Democrats have no intention of accepting defeat at the ballot box. If you think that they were sore losers in 2016, you ain't seen nothing yet. And what they're doing is effectively threatening violence if Biden does not win. And it's just a variation on the theme that Biden talked to in Pittsburgh during the week when he said, if you don't vote for him, you ain't safe. Devine was right, of course. During Biden's disastrous campaign speech in Pittsburgh on Tuesday, he all but threatened that violence that has marred American cities for more than 3 months will continue if Trump wins re-election. Quote, because for years he has fomented it, unquote. Devine called the Democrat strategy both despicable and dishonest, given that the Democrat proxies are committing the violence, not right-wing agitators, as Democrats and liberal media have suggested. It's pretty despicable, but that is everything you need to know. And it's also very dishonest because the scenarios they put together show it's actually the Democrat proxies in the street, the supposedly peaceful protests, you've heard that before, and yet the Republicans are supposed to send in a whole bunch of violent agitators, which is exactly the opposite of what's been happening. Devine warned that we are at an incredibly volatile point in this country's history, and this is just pouring gasoline on the fire. It is really reprehensible to be muddying the election night results like this, because everybody on either side is going to assume that the other side is cheated, and they're being encouraged now by the Democrats to take to the streets by whatever means necessary to make democracy happen. And democracy, from their point of view, is only if Joe Biden wins. To Devine's point, Biden has repeatedly charged, again with zero proof on his concern, as is Trump, will try to steal the election. Nancy Pelosi has also been among Democrats who insist Trump will try to cheat, albeit with a twist, recently suggesting Trump will try to undermine the election by corrupting the U.S. Postal Service. And of course, there's the Hildebeest Clinton, who recently and stridently warned Biden not to concede under any circumstances. Same Hillary who in 2016 was apoplectic after Trump said in an early debate he didn't know if he would accept the election results. Same Hillary also who has spent 4 years whining about losing, blaming everything from Russian collusion to a basket of deplorables to minority voter suppression to everyone and everything not named Hillary Clinton. And now to remove the liberal blindfold here, folks. Clearly, the Democrats and their liberal media lapdogs are worried. If they weren't, why would they sound so much like it? If they were so assured that Biden will oust Trump in November, as they say they are, Why are they running around looking and talking like paranoid fools? Now, the Democrats have been getting away with murder since Trump took office. They pushed the Russian collusion hoax with no proof and kept us busy for months while Trump quietly did things he quietly did things that he promised he would. Then there was Shifty Schiff telling us that he had proof that the president needed to be impeached. The Democrats were gung-ho for that for months while we sat back and couldn't watch anything else on television because Trump was going to be impeached. Well, even with Nancy Pelosi proclaiming that he was impeached no matter the vote, he wasn't, and things seemed to finally get back towards some normalcy. Then Wuhan happened, and suddenly for a cold, the nation got locked down for nothing. The economy was all but destroyed because the Democrats found a new way to hurt Trump. It did for a bit. Then the correct news of what was happening started coming out, and governors started opening up the states again. Then the media went back to work for the liberals again, giving huge numbers of new cases, most of which were not even true. Corona had again shut down the nation after the economy started roaring back, all the while Trump was quietly doing what he promised. But people were like lemmings and couldn't seem to think for themselves. Here in New Mexico, it seems that 95% of the people ran around with masks on, even when walking alone, or riding their bikes alone, or riding in their cars alone. While the news was finally getting out that masks were going to make people sick because they were doing nothing but shutting down the immune system, while the leftists started proclaiming a new outbreak was coming. And then the mail-in ballot scam started. Where this is going to end is anyone's guess right now. But again, the media is saying that the nation will be at war if Trump wins, and only a Biden landslide will stop the coming violence. Now, there is another way to stop that violence the demono-rats and the media is telling us is coming. Vote for Trump. Make him win with such a huge margin, nothing can be done to stop that Trump train. Then embolden and enforce the laws and put people who have been working for the demono-rats in jail for the treason that they have committed. If Americans have their heads on straight and their hearts in the right place, that is the only outcome that really makes sense. That is the outcome that will save America. Biden winning will definitely continue the destruction the demono-rats have us on now, because they won't stop then. Thank you all for joining us today, and as a friend of mine used to always say, we will not be ruled, and we have to start refusing to allow that, folks. This is Robert the Infidel, and I will see you all again on Monday. And remember, NWCR's Removing the Liberal Blindfold is brought to you through Conservative Nation Media, where America always wins. Tomorrow is my Friday show on Blog Talk Radio. Have a blessed day, and have a great weekend.